Do you believe many of us are wondering, why are relationships so hard?
Many of us, including myself, we have parts of us are seeking out growth. Parts of us feel a little bit stuck or maybe unfulfilled in that area of our life. I started looking into psychology books and doing some reading about improving the different parts of your lives.
I came across something by Carl Jung. It will change your life forever. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will lead your life. And you will call it fate. Keep watching. This will change your relationships forever.
And I came across this thing called the shadow self and doing the shadow work.
The shadow is the dark side of our personality. Negative human emotions, greed, hatred, fear, guilt, shame, or other limiting beliefs. Our unconscious behavior. In psychology, shadow is a term for everything we cannot see in ourselves. Is this why your relationships end badly?
And I came across this thing called the shadow self and doing the shadow work, which is really to identify and to discover all the different parts that make us whole and to see which ones we may or may not be conscious of that is affecting our lives. So it might be affecting your relationships with your boss or your colleagues. It might be affecting your relationships with the way you talk to yourself. It might be affecting relationships with your partner, your boyfriend, your husband, your girlfriend, your wife. Shadow work is basically telling you to be mindful of the parts of yourself that are hidden, that may not be present, you may not be aware of it, and how that is playing out in your life. You know, think about we are one person, but we have different roles in our life. So when we go to the office, we have a certain role there. Whatever your job is, that's one part of ourselves. And then within our own families, we have the role of maybe a mother, a sister, or a friend. And in our community, we may play a different role. Within that scope of who we are, I noticed that within myself, some parts quite fulfilled when I work on them. And then at other times in my life, I notice that a different part of me screams out for attention. I might be struggling in a certain aspect of my relationships, for example.
We think it's inferior, evil, or unacceptable. And so it becomes part of our shadow because we deny them as part of us. If we want to be whole, like a whole person, we have to integrate and accept that there are shadows in our life. Light and dark emotions are part of our shared humanity. By rejecting the dark side, unconsciously, we repress them, but it is still part of us in the subconscious mind. In psychology, Carl Jung said that this act of suppressing causes us to project. We project onto others anything we bury within us. And this happens unconsciously. When you get irritated when someone is rude to you, it's likely that you haven't owned up to your own rudeness to others.
And an interesting thing to note is there are parts of ourselves that are really positive. You know, I only realized or stepped into my creativity, I guess somewhere around my late 20s. In my teenage days, I was very creative, but I didn't really want to express that because, again, I was trying to fit in with a crowd. You know, in my opinion, they were not very creative. And so I put some of who I was on the back burner, which is definitely not the thing you should do. But in finding myself and going on a journey to step into who I really am and to feel comfortable and to feel secure with just being myself, I've noticed that there are parts of me that really I let become unconscious that I want to bring out into my life to be able to actually live fully. So when you address a part of yourself that's really screaming for attention, and that attention could be in the way that you are handling conflict in your life. A simple way for us to catch parts of us that are not conscious is the way we are kind of exploding in a situation. And the easiest example is when we are triggered or when someone does something or says something to us and we instantly go from 0 to like angry, 0 to like, no, of course not, defensive, 0 to feeling filled with such energy, and that energy is coming from a combative place. You know, having energy within you is super good. It's great because you want that enthusiasm and that passion for life. But if that energy is coming out to create separation from the person or people that you are interacting with. You are now rejecting that thing that was said to you. And when you dig deeper into that, there is a part of you that does not want to be associated with that, and that's where you have to do the work. Because ideally, in this journey of becoming our best and highest selves, we should be able to come from a place of accepting that we all have different views, and to come from a place of we can make change in the world in a harmonious way. We can present ourselves in a harmonious way, so that we regulate the emotions within us. And when we regulate that emotion within us, we are at a place of balance or homeostasis. And I think you really allow yourself to break free from all these negative things, negative thoughts, negative people, and you step into a world with a different pair of eyes that you can see things objectively without really getting moved, without really letting that take you out of who you are and that nice sweet spot that you're gelling in life. I'm sorry if this is a ramble, but I'm trying as best as I can to put into words a personal experience that I'm on right now, and I'm sharing this because I know that some of you are feeling that as well. As we step into the new year, what's interesting for us to do is go in there with the intention of getting to know yourself better, so that everything that you're wanting to do next year, you are doing the work on the inside to become the person you need to be to live the life you want, to be able to step up and take the reins of your life, go after what you want, put it out there, and to not be ashamed. You know, for too many years, I was ashamed of myself. I was ashamed of the parts of me that wanted to grow. All of this shame really is non-productive. It attracts things that are not good for you, and really you're acting really small. We have to cut ties with the parts of ourselves that are no longer in alignment with where we want to go. We have to start telling ourselves a different story. So with love and light, thank you so much for joining me, and be well, my friend.